Hi guys, welcome to class. We're gonna get started with our measures because we're still working on some conversions. Hopefully those were easy for you and we're gonna keep learning those today as well as Roman numerals. All right, but before we get there, let's review our conversions. Like I said, let's start with ones that we don't have on the cards. Remember, we've learned two measures that I don't have cards for right now. They are bushels and pecks and pecks and quarts. So 1 bushel equals how many pecks? 4, very good. 4 pecks are in a bushel. 1 peck equals how many quarts? 8. There are 8 quarts in a peck. Very important to know. Okay, let's go through our measures. 1 minute equals how many seconds? 60. 1 leap year equals how many days? 366. 1 day equals how many hours? 24. 1 meter equals how many centimeters? 100. 1 dozen things equals how many things? 12, very good. 1 year equals how many weeks? About 52. 1 mile equals how many feet? Okay, this is a big one, so I'm going to show it to you. 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. Very good. 1 year equals how many days? 365, very good, because it's not a leap year. The leap year has the extra. 1 pint equals how many cups? 2, good job. 1 yard equals how many inches? 36. 1 kilogram equals how many grams? This is a new one. When you see that kilo, think 1,000. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. 1 pound equals how many ounces? 16, very good. 1 gallon equals how many quarts? 4, very good. 1 yard equals how many feet? 3. 1 year equals how many months? 12. 1 hour equals how many minutes? 60. 1 mile equals how many yards? 1,760. 1 quart equals how many pints? 2, very good. 1 foot equals how many inches? 12. And last one, 1 week equals how many days? 7, nice work. Okay, before we get to our conversions, let's talk about our Roman numerals. So when you see these numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those are what we call Arabic numerals. They're numbers and they work a little bit differently than Roman numerals do. With numbers, we have something called place value. Remember, that's how we have a nombre for cada lugar for our numbers. So, por ejemplo, with this number, 23. We read it as 23. We know we have 3 ones and 2 tens because our 2 is in the tens place and our 3 is in the ones place. Well, Roman numerals use letters. We use the letters mostly I, V, and X. And there are more, but we'll learn those a little later. We're going to start with I, V, and X. And they don't use place value like Arabic numerals do. So how much is I worth? So I might be sometimes written like this so that you can clearly see it's capital I, or it might be written just like this when it's being typed. But be careful because it's not a 1, it's an I, a capital I. But what does it mean? What does it stand for? The number 1. So I is 1. You can also see this at the top of your page. We're on pages 163 to 164. So you have an owl at the top, and he's holding in his little beak a card that has the Roman numerals on it. So V is worth how many? V is worth 5. So V stands for 5. And X? X stands for 10. 10. So I is 1, V is 5, and X is 10. And we use these letters to make the other numbers. So when I have rules to tell me how I write each number. So look at your page 163, look at number 1. It says repeated Roman numerals are added. You may have no more than 3 of the same numeral in a row. The numeral is what we use to refer to these letters, okay? So I can have no more than 3 of a letter in a row. Now, V is special. V, you can't repeat V at all, okay? You can only have 1 V. Because think about it, if you have 2 V's, V and V, that's 5 and 5. What's 5 plus 5? 10. And we already have a letter for 10, X. So V does not get repeated. But you can repeat I and X, but you can only repeat it 3 times. So when I have just I, how much is just I? Again, this is number 1 on your page, so follow along with me. It's just 1. If I have I have 1 plus 1. So how much is that? 2. Very good. If I have I have 3 I's. I have 1 plus 1 plus 1. How much is that? 3. Very good. Okay, now let's look at the next rule, number 2 on your paper. It says, if a lesser Roman numeral follows a greater Roman numeral, add. Okay, so let's talk about that. You're probably going, what in the world, Miss Ashley? I don't understand. Okay, when you have a Roman numeral and the number right after it is smaller, then you need to add their values, add their valores. So this is V, which we know is worth 5. Right after it is a 1, right? I is 1. 1 is smaller than 5, so that means I need to add them, okay? So 5 plus 1 is 6. Very good. This is the only way I could write 6 because I can't have more than 3 of the 1s. So the only way to get to 6 is to take 5 and add 1 to it, and I get 6. All right, how about this? Excuse me. I have V, I. Well, I know that V is 5, and since I is smaller than 5, I know I'm adding. So plus 1 again. So that is how much? 7, good. All right, let's try this one. V, which is 5, then I have 3 I's. I is 1, which is smaller than 5, so I'm adding 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. 8, good job. All right, now let's look at rule number 3. It says, if a lesser Roman numeral comes before a greater Roman numeral, subtract. Okay, so that means if you have a Roman numeral and right in front of it is a smaller Roman numeral, then you subtract. For example, here V is worth how much? 5, very good. How about IV? Well, we know V is 5 and I is 1. 1 is smaller than 5. So that means, excuse me, I need to subtract 1 from 5 to get the answer. What is 5 minus 1? 4. Very good. And that's the only way I could write 4, because I couldn't put 4 ones together, because I can't have more than 3 of a Roman numeral in a row. This is the only way. I have to subtract 1 from 5 to get to 4. And there's no special symbol for 4. This is it. Okay, how about this one? X is 10. Very good. Now I have IX. IX. Well, X we know is 10, and I is 1. Is 10 smaller than, or excuse me, is 1 smaller than 10 or bigger than 10? Smaller than 10, so I need to subtract it. 10 minus 1, which is 9. So IX is 9. Okay, so for number 4, it says complete the Roman numerals. So it's now, excuse me, now it is your turn to write the Roman numerals. Use what you've done up top for a guide to help you. Then number 5, again, says write the Roman numerals. This time they're mixed out of order, okay? So you get to practice writing the Roman numerals, but use what we've gone through up top as your guide to help you. Okay, turn over the page. On page 164, number 6 at the top says convert the measures. We're going to do letters A and B together, and you guys are going to do letters C and D by yourselves, okay? So remember to set it up. We have 4 yards equals how many feet? 4 yards equals how many feet? Well, we start by realizing we are converting, we are changing from 4 yards. Oops, I forgot, I wanted to write this here on the side. So I have a little more space. Changing from 4 yards to feet from yards. What's the conversion factor for feet and yards? There are 3 feet in 1 yard. Very good. Do I multiply or do I divide? Well, my number that's bigger is on the top, so I multiply. 4 times 3 is 12. So I get 12 feet. Okay, let's try this one. 16 pecks, change it to bushels. So I have 16 pecks, and I'm going to go 2 bushels from pecks. How are pecks and bushels related? What's their conversion factor? There are 4 pecks in 1 bushel. So do I multiply or do I divide? Well, my number that's bigger than 1 is on the bottom, so I divide. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Good job. So 16 pecks equals 4 bushels. Okay, let me help you set up letters C and D, just so you don't feel too uncomfortable doing those on your own, since this is a brand new topic. C says 6 weeks equals how many days? So we're changing from 6 weeks to days from weeks. What's the conversion factor for weeks and days? That's right, there are 7 days in 1 week. And since my number that's greater than 1 is on the top, I multiply to find the answer. Letter D, I'm changing from 8 cups to pints from cups. What's their conversion factor? 2 cups in a pint. Since the number that's greater than 1 is on the bottom, I divide. All right, so do that to find your answer. You can ignore that where it says 1, 2, 3, just ignore that and write your work in that space. Number 7, you're going to multiply. Number 8, you're going to divide and check. Number 9 says fill in the blanks with less than or greater than. So remember, the bigger end is open towards the bigger unit, smaller end to the smaller unit. Then where it says homework, it says write the 7 division table on a separate piece of paper. And number 2, write the answers. All right, that's it for your lesson today. Have a wonderful day, guys. Love you. Bye.